Hello, 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 and welcome into 5 videos that every therapist needs to promote their private practice. My name is Kathleen Day, and I am so excited to have you here. If you have thought about getting on video, but if the idea of it is giving you the ick, you are in the right place. Now, while I'm not a newbie to video at all, I definitely remember the first time turning on the camera and watching myself back and thinking, oh my God, I can't believe I'm going to put this out there. But I will tell you, it does get better with time. So if you're on the fence about it, I want you to know this really important fact. Your next client is scrolling right now. They are looking for a solution to the problem that you solve right now. And they cannot hire you as their clinician if they cannot find you and connect with you. And video is absolutely the best way to do that. Now, do not take my word for it. Let's see what the experts say. So, 88% of people say that they were convinced to buy something because of a video. I want you to think about how often you are tempted or convinced to buy something off of the TikTok shop because you saw somebody wearing it or modeling it or demonstrating it. We generally connect more with video. Think about QVC and Home Shopping Network. All of those use the power of video to convert people because it's a great way to connect. When you think about a video in terms of your social media, know that video is shared 1,200% more than text and image combined. So if you're just putting up a picture of yourself, that's great. If you're putting up a static post, that's great. But you can amplify your reach just by having a video. And when we think about your website, like you want to find out how you can be more popular. Sometimes people say, how can I get on the first page of Google? If you want to do that, understand this. The way that you do that is not only by having SEO, but by having people be on your website and not just pop on and pop off. People will stay on your website 2.6 times longer if you have a simple video on your website. So this can be incredibly powerful for helping you to not have to spend so much money on ads and not having to try to work so hard to convert people. So I'm going to ask you, what would those numbers mean for you in your real life, right? If you combined the benefit of video with your amazing counseling skills, what would that look like for your business? Could that generate a new client for you? Maybe a new 5 clients for you? How much revenue is that for your business? Really stop and think about that. Now, if you're starting to think, yes, I think that this is the right thing, but if you're thinking, I'm terrified. I do not know what to do with this, and I am terrified. If you're saying, like Kavelin, I am not just camera shy. I am terrified that I'm going to get it wrong. I am terrified that I'm going to ruin my professional reputation. I am terrified that I'm going to say something, I'm going to fumble over my words, and people are going to think I'm an idiot and they're never going to want to hire me. I want you to know something. Your clients do not need you to be a performer. Your clients want you to be your authentic self. They want to see you, they want to hear your voice, they want to know what you're like, they want to relate to you. So, no, you don't have to be perfect. You can have a few missteps or an or ah, and they'll still think that your video is great. The power is in you showing up as who you are. Yes, a good lighting, like a little ring light, maybe a clean background, those are helpful. And maybe you want to eventually invest in a specific camera, but the truth is, people just want to get to know you. Okay. They just want to see who you are. They want to see whether or not they can connect with you and relate to you. Okay. You don't need to go viral. This is not about you becoming the next viral TikTok star, okay? I know if we kind of think back to 2020 when everyone was going viral and they were going to end up on Ellen and all these different things. That is not what this is about. The truth of the matter is, you can have a full private practice without ever going viral. You can make plenty of money in one-on-one services or in selling digital courses or products or any of those things without ever having thousands of followers, without ever having millions of people see your views. The goal is not viral. The goal is connection. If you connect right with the customer that wants to hire you, you'll never need to be viral. You just need to think about it. What is a full caseload for you? Is it 10 people, 20 people, maybe somewhere in the middle, like 15? If you are trying to get 15 people in your local area, and there's probably, millions depending on where you live, not only do you need to stop thinking about going viral, just think about how you can connect with that one person, that one out of the 15 that you want to connect with. And for the record, you do not need to follow trends, and you do not need to dance, and you do not need to lip sync in order for this to work. You can do short form, you can do long form. Both of them have benefits. The idea is that you just want to show up. And remember that one good video can be more beneficial than a whole website full of copy that nobody's ever going to see. And for the record, just so we know, let's talk a little bit of dollars and cents. Video is the most economical way of marketing your business. So rather than spending thousands and thousands of dollars on the perfect website that nobody ever lands on, or trying to promote yourself in every, directory and every magazine and all these different places, using video can actually amplify your voice and your message. Okay. So now I'm going to tell you the 5 videos that I think every therapist should take the time out of their schedule to record. I'm even going to give you a couple of bonus ones. They're very simple, very easy. What I want you to think about is one person, one message, one video, right? So for every video that you're doing, it's one person and one message, okay? So, your first video idea is your Why I Became a Therapist story. So, this is your story. So, it can't get much easier than that. We're starting with what is exactly your story. Okay. So, this is your connection builder. This is about the client that wants to get to know you. This is to humanize you. You're not just the letters behind your name, you're not just the techniques that you use. There's a story about why you became a therapist. Now, this should not be a trauma dump. Okay. I want you to take your time to make sure that you have something concise. We really want to keep this to about a minute or two. But this is replacing those consultation calls. If you have a video on your website that talks about why you became a therapist, that can actually help people connect with you and be ready to book when they call rather than asking you a lot more questions. So I want you to kind of think of this prompt. Let me tell you why I became a therapist and why I still love the work that I do. If you can look right at the camera and say that, that is going to be so, so powerful for connecting with your potential clients. Okay. Second, your second video idea is what therapy is and what it isn't. Now, this is your myth busting video. So I want you to think about this for the people who've never come to therapy, who maybe are just considering the possibility of therapy, who are very maybe unsure about it, who think that there's going to be a couch in there that they have to lay down on, who just don't know what it is or isn't. So this is why you can have this video available for people who might have a lot more questions or maybe even have some anxiety about the process. So you're going to kind of make sure that they understand what it's about and what it's not. So the prompt I would use for this one is a lot of people think therapy is all about laying on a couch while somebody looks down their nose and judges you. But what I think therapy really is, and then you fill in the blank with that. Again, you want to keep this super simple. I don't want you deep diving. I don't want you talking about things like EMDR and CBT and all these different things. You can have that on your bio, you can have that on your website somewhere, but this is really about what their experience will be of being in the therapeutic process. Okay, so that is video number 2. Video number 3 is client wins, aka transformations. Now, it's always best to have client approval of this, but I would not even really worry about that as much as making it super, super general, right? So this is about making you seem like the expert. It's kind of building your credibility. So you're not necessarily having to tell all the gory details of someone's story, and I definitely want you to avoid that. I would speak in general terms about how a client felt when they came in and how they either feel now or how they, are feeling in the process. So the prompt you would use for something like this is, one of the biggest wins I've seen my client have this week is going from blank to blank. This is so helpful for reaching those clients who are maybe feeling a little bit hopeless, who don't know that therapy could be a solution for them or that therapy could benefit them in this type of a way. So you want to make sure that you're kind of giving them, painting the picture of what the before and after could look like. Like most of us love to see a great before and after image of somebody who's like losing weight. So this is kind of giving a back behind the scenes of that before and after in terms of the transformation in the counseling office. Okay. Again, this does also help them get to know you a little bit more, and it also helps them to get to know what kind of problems that you can solve. And you can do a variety of these, but this is the one I would definitely make sure that you have available on your website and on your social media. Okay, idea number 4. Now, I think like my day in the life videos are the ones that I love watching of other people. I actually watch them all the time. There's somebody that I follow on social media, and she's not a clinician at all, but she says, a day in my life in 60 seconds. And she just gives 60-second snapshot of what her life is. And I think it is so cool because it allows you to be a fly on the wall. This is that behind the scenes trust builder to show that you are a real person. You are not just your credentials. You are not just somebody that's meant to judge them. You're somebody who has dogs. You're somebody who rides a Peloton. You're just like a regular person. So the prompt I would use for this one is, have you ever wondered what a typical day looks like for a therapist working with patients who've experienced trauma? And then you kind of show your day, or a therapist for moms with anxiety, whatever the case may be. You are building a little behind the scenes credibility in there by saying, I work with moms who, kind of fill in that blank, but you're also letting them know that you're a real person, a regular person who does regular things, right? And bonus points, if it includes something like coffee, like that people really resonate with, people just love that. I don't know why, but they love a good coffee mug and they love to see what your drink is at Starbucks or whatever. Those are the kind of things that people really like to see, and they do connect well with those as well. All right. Video number 5 is your FAQ, or your first steps if you are getting ready to be a new client. Now, this is the nudge toward conversion, which is taking them from thinking about it to actually taking action. Okay. You want to answer what are the most common questions that people ask when they call your practice or when they email you. You want to answer those in a video format. Chances are you've said this probably 5 times today, right? You're just going to put it on a video in a 30 or 60-second video format, that so that people can watch that before they even call in. It's going to cut down on the amount of time you have to, be on the phone answering those questions, but it also will alleviate some of those questions that people have, because believe it or not, a lot of times people are hesitant to even call in and ask the question. So if you can eliminate them having that hesitation, that's definitely helps. The other thing you can include is, what is your process, the registration process, the intake process, what those processes look like. We used to share, images and videos of our front office and, like how they would walk in the door. So they would already kind of know what to expect. So there wasn't like this anticipation that can be a negative buildup for people. So the prompt here is, a question I get all the time is, do I need a diagnosis for therapy? Here's my answer. Or the question I get all the time is, do you take my insurance? And here's my answer. So you're just kind of giving them the questions that they could read on your website, but because we know people will glean more information from a video, we're just going to put it in a video format. Okay. Now, I couldn't leave you guys with just 5. I had to give you a little bit more. So here's a couple bonus ideas, right? So what I wish people knew about, fill in the blank. So what I wish people knew about anxiety, what I wish people knew about trauma, what I wish people knew about depression, what I wish people knew about having a crisis in their midlife, or what I wish people knew about therapy in general. Like whatever you wish people knew about. That's again it's kind of a deeper kind of window into you as a professional. It does do a lot more about making you stand out as an expert, because it makes you kind of have a personal opinion, and that is something that shows that you talk to a lot of people, and it definitely sets you up on an expert. So what I've learned from this work is a very similar prompt. And then my favorite issue to work on is, and that's a really great one, because sometimes people will think, I'm too broken to be fixed. I don't. My therapist is going to hate me, and she's not going to want to talk to me. Like the things your clients can be thinking. I'm telling you guys, you will never guess what these things that they could be thinking. So anytime that you could answer a question that they haven't articulated, that's a great idea for a video. Okay. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen one of my videos before, but one thing I always say is it is time to take action. I have given you 5 great video ideas plus a few bonuses, and these are things that can be recorded super simply in 5 minutes or less. You don't have to overthink it. So right now, you just watched this video. I want you to decide which prompt you're going to use. Okay? Pick one. I've literally given you like 5 and some bonuses, right? Prop your camera up. I do not want you waiting until you can order a tripod. I want you to get some books and prop it up. Or if you could ask someone to film for you, that will work too. I prefer the back camera, but even if you have to prop it up and use the front camera, that will work. And post your first video online somewhere and then share it everywhere that you can think of. You don't need fancy lighting and you don't need the perfect script. You do need to take action, and you need to remember that the person you want to help is looking for you right now, and she's looking for exactly the thing that you can provide her. Okay. Now, if this has been helpful for you, I want you to know I'm going to send you a little something in your email. So keep an eye out for that. That'll help you take your videos to the next level. But I am so grateful that you're taking action today, and I cannot wait to see what you do.